The feeling that attracts wealth faster than hard work. There is a power within you so immense, so invisible, yet undeniable, that when you learn how to move it, you will discover that wealth does not come to you through the sweat of your brow, nor the hours you sacrifice, nor the struggle you endure. It comes to you through the invisible law of your own inner state. People have been conditioned to believe that wealth is a product of endless hard work, of sacrifice, of trading time for money, until their bodies tire and their minds weaken. Yet there are those who work less, and still wealth seems to chase them. There are those who exert little effort outwardly, yet riches flow into their lives as though they are magnets to fortune. What is it that separates them from the ones who labor day and night, yet see no fruit? It is not luck, nor chance, nor destiny in the way people assume. It is the inner secret, the feeling of wealth, the inner assumption that they already possess abundance, that they already are the rich one. That feeling is what attracts wealth faster than the endless grind of hard work. You may ask, how can feeling alone bring riches when the world screams for labor, hustle, and sacrifice? But I tell you, everything you experience in this outer world is only a mirror of the state you dwell in inwardly. If your inner state is one of lack, if you are secretly feeling poor, desperate, and fearful of bills, then your labor, no matter how intense, will only reproduce more struggle, more lack, more circumstances that confirm your feeling. But if you learn to sustain the inner knowing, the inner joy, the inner assurance that wealth is yours already, the outer world cannot help but bend and mold itself to that feeling. The world is not separate from your consciousness. It is the projection of your state of consciousness. Think of the countless people who toil in factories, in offices, in fields day and night, only to remain in the same condition for decades. Now contrast them with the few who appear to glide effortlessly into riches, who attract opportunities, who meet the right people at the right time, who find doors opening as if by magic. What separates these two groups is not intelligence, nor talent, nor even education. It is the assumption, the conviction, the feeling that they are already destined for wealth. They may not consciously explain it, but their inner state aligns with prosperity, and life mirrors it. You cannot outwork a wrong state. You cannot hustle your way out of poverty if inwardly you are still identifying as the poor one. Your outer actions spring from your inner assumptions, and unless those assumptions change, no amount of labor can free you. But shift your feeling, live from the state of wealth now, and the work you do will suddenly produce fruits beyond measure. Feeling is the secret key, for what you feel as true becomes your reality. If you feel lack, lack will continue. If you feel abundance, abundance must appear. You may repeat affirmations 1,000 times, but if you do not feel them as true, they are lifeless words. You may plan, scheme, and work long hours, but if your feeling is that of struggle, then your hard work will yield more struggle. But if you can enter the state of already being wealthy, of already being the prosperous one, of already living in the reality you desire, then even your smallest action will be magnified. Even your smallest step will draw riches to you. The world will tell you to chase money, to grind until your bones ache, but that is the path of the blind. Money does not chase the one who is desperate for it. Money flows to the one who inwardly feels it already theirs. For wealth is not attracted by effort. It is attracted by identity. What you inwardly identify with, you must express. So if you secretly identify as the poor, if you secretly see yourself as one who must struggle, life has no choice but to mirror that. But if you dwell in the feeling of being rich, if you close your eyes and imagine from the place of already having all you desire, then life by law must conform to that inner blueprint. So I ask you now, how do you feel about wealth? Do you feel it far from you, as a goal you may one day attain after years of effort? Or do you feel it near, here, already yours, already within your grasp? Your answer determines your destiny, for life cannot contradict your feeling. When you sustain the feeling of wealth, you begin to live as though it were true now. You carry yourself differently, you speak differently, you think differently, and the world responds in kind, arranging circumstances, opportunities, people and events, to confirm the state you occupy. Do not mistake this for mere wishing. Wishing says, I want to be wealthy someday, but feeling says, I am wealthy now, and life responds only to the latter. You must claim the state as though it is already yours. You must allow the inner joy of wealth to flood you, not when the bank account changes, but now. For when you persist in that feeling, the bank account must change, the house must appear, the car must be yours, the opportunities must unfold. There is a higher law than labor, and that is imagination felt as real. When you feel yourself already rich, already secure, already abundant, you are impressing upon the subconscious mind the seed of wealth, and the subconscious does not know how to fail. It will bring forth whatever seed is planted in it, just as soil brings forth whatever is sown. If you sow the seed of struggle by dwelling in feelings of lack, you reap struggle. If you sow the seed of abundance by dwelling in the feeling of already being wealthy, you reap riches. The soil does not care what seed you plant. It simply returns to you what you have sown. Your outer labor is but the shadow of your inner assumption. If you change nothing within, your work will remain fruitless. But if you change your assumption, your work becomes blessed, magnified, multiplied beyond effort. A man can work a single hour from the right feeling, and produce more than another who labors 10 years from the wrong state. This is why the world remains baffled, when some appear to have riches without struggle, while others die in toil. The difference is invisible to the senses. It is the feeling they carry. You must learn the art of entering the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Close your eyes and imagine, not as something to come, but as something already here. Feel the satisfaction of already having all you desire. Dwell in that joy, until it feels natural, until it feels like home. Then release it. The world will take care of the details. Do not concern yourself with how, or when, or through whom it will come. Your only work is to persist in the feeling. When doubt arises, and it will, do not bow to it. Doubt is only the echo of your former state. Persist in your new state, for the old must die away. If you continue to nourish the feeling of wealth, the outer world cannot resist. It must conform, for it is powerless to resist your sustained assumption. You have been taught that hard work is the answer. But look closely. Has the world not shown you thousands of examples of hard workers who remain poor? And yet has it not also shown you countless examples of those who seem to glide into wealth with ease? The difference is invisible to the eyes, but it is plain to the heart. They feel differently. They feel themselves as wealthy already, and because they feel it, life cannot deny it. Wealth is not a result of hours. It is a result of consciousness. Change your consciousness, and you change your wealth. Live in the feeling of already being the millionaire, the prosperous one, and your world must echo it. It is law. You may try to resist it. You may cling to the old belief in hard work, but sooner or later you will discover that what you inwardly accept as true is what outwardly manifests. The great secret is not in striving, but in feeling, not in working harder, but in assuming the state of already having. The moment you dare to feel rich now, even with empty pockets, you set into motion the law that will fill those pockets. The moment you dare to feel abundant now, even when surrounded by lack, you summon the circumstances that will confirm your feeling. You are not a beggar hoping for wealth. You are the wealth itself, choosing to reveal itself through your assumption. Every fortune begins with a feeling. Every palace, every empire, every invention, every breakthrough first lived in the unseen world of feeling, before it appeared in the visible world. Nothing is created outwardly before it is first created inwardly. So if you want riches, you must first feel them inwardly. Live in the joy of already possessing them. Walk as though it is so. Think as though it is so. And the world will fall in line with your assumption. Do not wait until your bank account changes to feel wealthy. That is to reverse the law. Feel wealthy now, and the bank account will change. Do not wait for opportunities to knock before you feel prosperous. Feel prosperous now, and the opportunities will come. Do not wait for the world to show you evidence. Be the evidence inwardly, and the world will mirror it. So I tell you, the feeling that attracts wealth faster than hard work is the feeling of already having it. Live in that state. Persist in that joy, and you will find that wealth flows to you with an ease that will astonish you. For it is the law of consciousness. What you feel is true, you must experience. What you assume you must express. And when you choose the assumption of wealth, wealth cannot resist. It must appear. You see, the outer world is not a cause but an effect. It has no power of its own. The true cause of everything you experience lies within the invisible realm of your feeling. If you feel wealthy, life must reflect wealth. If you feel poor, life must reflect poverty. The outer world is neutral. It simply mirrors the state you sustain. This is why two people can stand side by side, live in the same city, encounter the same economy, yet one prospers while the other struggles. It is not the outer condition that shapes them, but the inner feeling they choose to live in. When you begin to recognize this truth, you stop blaming the world. You stop blaming the government, the economy, or your background. You realize that the only thing determining your wealth is the state you occupy within yourself. And this is a liberating realization, for it means you are no longer at the mercy of circumstance. You do not need to wait for the perfect job, the perfect chance, or the perfect system. You can create wealth now by assuming the feeling of it now. Perhaps you have tried to imagine riches before and failed. Perhaps you said the words, "I am rich, I am wealthy," but nothing seemed to happen. This is because you treated it as a mere phrase rather than a felt reality. Words without feeling are empty. They have no creative power. The power lies in the assumption, the conviction, the acceptance of it as true. When you inwardly accept the reality of wealth and dwell in it as natural, you plant the seed that must bear fruit. The soil of the subconscious cannot deny it. The key is persistence. For one moment of feeling wealth will not overturn a lifetime of identifying as poor. But if you return again and again to the state of already being rich, if you make it your dwelling place, if you feel the joy of it in quiet moments before sleep, in moments when the world seems contrary, if you dare to live there in imagination, then the outer world must shift. It cannot hold out against the sustained inner conviction. The old conditions will crumble. New opportunities will arise. New avenues of wealth will appear. The details will surprise you. For the law has infinite ways of fulfilling itself. And let me remind you, it is not about forcing the feeling. You do not need to strain or pretend. Simply allow yourself to sink into the naturalness of it. Let it be as though it is already done. Imagine yourself living in your desired home, holding the keys, feeling the comfort of it, as though it is yours now. Imagine yourself with your bank account filled, looking at it on the screen, feeling the relief and joy, as though it were already true. Do not struggle to make it happen. Simply accept it inwardly, and let that feeling become your reality. You may be tempted to measure results by time. You may ask, when will it happen? How long will it take? But this only betrays that you are not yet living in the feeling of already having it. For if you truly felt it as real, you would not ask when it would feel natural now. The harvest always comes in its appointed season. Your task is not to demand the season, but to plant the seed and water it with feeling. When the subconscious has accepted it, the outer manifestation is inevitable. Consider the people you admire for their wealth. Many of them began with nothing. Many of them came from backgrounds of struggle, yet they rose to riches. Outwardly, you may say they worked hard, but inwardly, they were already rich. They walked with an inner knowing, an inner conviction, an inner wealth consciousness that drew opportunities to them. The hard work was not the cause, but the expression of their inner assumption. If they had carried feelings of poverty, their hard work would have kept them in poverty. But because they carried feelings of wealth, their actions produced wealth. And the same is true for you. You may keep grinding, hustling, sacrificing your health and peace in search of riches. But if inwardly you are poor, your hard work will be barren. Or you may learn the higher way, the way of feeling, and discover that wealth flows to you, that doors open, that ideas come, that people appear, and that your labor, instead of being exhausting, becomes joyous and fruitful. Let us go deeper. Imagine tonight before you sleep that you are lying not in your current bed, but in the mansion you desire. Feel the sheets, the spaciousness of the room, the quiet confidence that this is yours. Let the feeling wash over you until you drift into sleep. Do not treat it as a game. Feel it as natural, as though you have always lived there. When you repeat this night after night, the subconscious accepts it. And when the subconscious accepts it, the world must reflect it. You will begin to notice subtle changes, opportunities you never imagined, coincidences too precise to be random. These are the first signs of the law unfolding. This is the reason why wealth without the feeling of wealth is fleeting. A person may win the lottery, may suddenly come into riches, but if they still feel poor inwardly, they will lose it all. Their inner state will sabotage their outer gain, for the inner must always express itself. Likewise, a person may start with nothing, but if they cultivate the feeling of wealth, life will conspire to deliver it to them, and it will last, for it is rooted in their identity. So I urge you, shift your feeling now. Stop identifying with lack. Stop rehearsing stories of struggle. Stop affirming that money is hard to come by. For every time you dwell on those feelings, you strengthen them. Instead, dare to feel rich now. Even if your pockets are empty, even if the bills are piling, even if the evidence contradicts you, ignore it. The outer world is but the echo of your old state. Do not be deceived by the echo. Plant the new seed, and trust that the harvest is on its way. If you can feel it, you can have it. If you can sustain the inner conviction, life cannot resist it. Wealth is not a stranger to you. It is already within you, waiting for you to claim it. And the only way to claim it is to feel it as yours now. That is the law. Every thought clothed in feeling becomes a command to the unseen. This is why idle daydreaming often changes nothing. It is not sustained. It is not felt. But the thought that you allow yourself to dwell in, that you feel in your heart as though it were already real, becomes the substance from which your world is fashioned. If you spend your days worrying about bills, stressing over what you do not have, envying those who do, then you are planting seeds of lack, and life, being faithful, must yield lack back to you. But if you rise above appearances, and dare to feel what your heart longs for, as though it were already here, then the harvest will astonish you. There are those who will tell you that this is foolishness, that you cannot simply feel your way into riches. But look at the lives around you, and ask, are the hardest workers the richest? Or do you not see countless ones who labor endlessly, yet remain bound by poverty? And do you not also see others who seem to live with ease, who attract opportunity without effort, who multiply wealth without strain? The difference is not in their hours, but in their inner state. For everything must follow the state of consciousness. Your imagination is the workshop of wealth, and your feeling is the hand that molds it. If you imagine riches, but feel doubt, fear, or unworthiness, then your imagination is divided and bears no fruit. But if you imagine and feel at one, if you imagine and surrender to the joy of it, then nothing can prevent its manifestation. The subconscious, once impressed, will lead you to actions, encounters, and events that bring the inner picture to life, and it will do so in ways you could never plot or predict. You must learn to live from the end. Do not live as though you are striving toward wealth. Live as though wealth is already yours. When you dress, dress as the wealthy. When you speak, speak as one who already possesses. When you think, think from the place of security, not fear. It is not pretense. It is creation. For as you persist in that inner state, life is compelled to give you evidence of it. And when life does, do not call it coincidence. Nothing is accidental in a universe governed by law. The meeting of a person, the sudden idea, the unexpected check, the opportunity that seems to fall into your lap, all of these are the outpicturing of the feeling you sustained. Give thanks for them, not as surprises, but as natural outcomes of the wealth consciousness you have chosen. Even now, as you listen to these words, you can choose to shift. You can lay down the old garment of lack and clothe yourself in the new garment of abundance. The change is invisible to the senses, but undeniable to the heart. And once you wear it inwardly, life cannot resist clothing you outwardly. Consider how a child plays. A child may hold a stick and feel it as a sword. Though outwardly it is still a stick, inwardly the child knows it as a sword. And in that moment it is. The child does not question or doubt. It simply assumes. And so it is with you. You must assume the state of wealth with the same natural ease, the same innocence, the same certainty. Though the outer world has not yet shifted, you live from the inner reality, until the outer has no choice but to comply. This is not escape from reality. It is the shaping of it. For reality is not what your senses show you now. Reality is what you inwardly accept as true. The senses only reveal the echo of past assumptions. They cannot show you what is becoming until it arrives. So do not worship the senses. Do not let them dictate your state. Rather dictate your state and let the senses catch up. And you will find that once you anchor yourself in the feeling of wealth, work itself changes. It no longer feels like drudgery or sacrifice, but becomes inspired, joyous, effortless. Ideas flow that would not come before. Energy rises where before you were weary. People are drawn to you who were once absent. The same world that once resisted you begins to favor you. It is not because the world has changed, but because you have. The outer life always bends to the inner, and wealth being but an effect, must bend to the cause. The cause is your assumption, your feeling, your acceptance of yourself as already wealthy. Take this seriously, and you will no longer wonder why some rise while others remain stuck. You will no longer envy, no longer strive with desperation, but will live from the quiet confidence that what you inwardly accept must outwardly appear. So tonight, tomorrow, and every day that follows, let your greatest work be not in the outer world, but in the inner chamber of imagination. There craft the scenes of wealth. There feel the joy of abundance. There assume the state of already being the prosperous one. And then walk through your day as though it were so. This is the true labor, and it produces fruit faster, surer and greater than all the toil of the world. The reason most people fail to attract wealth is that they continually return to their old state. They may for a moment imagine riches and feel their joy, but then the evidence of the senses, the empty account, the unpaid bills, the lack of opportunities, pulls them back into fear. They let the outer echo dictate the inner state, and by doing so they plant the same seeds of poverty again and again. But you must learn to hold the inner vision, even when the outer contradicts it. For the outer is always late. The outer is always yesterday. If you continue to feel wealth today, the outer must eventually catch up. Do not grow weary in persistence. Imagine a farmer who sows a seed and then the very next day digs it up because he does not yet see the sprout. Would he ever reap? Yet this is what most people do with their assumptions. They plant the seed of wealth in imagination, then the next day abandon it because the world has not yet changed. Hold firm. The seed is alive. It is growing in the unseen. If you will only let it be, if you will continue to water it with feeling, the day must come when the sprout breaks through the soil, when wealth appears in your world. And remember, wealth is not only measured in money, though money will surely come. Wealth is a state of fullness, of abundance in every area. It is the freedom to do what you desire, the joy of knowing all your needs are met, the ease of living without fear. It is the laughter that comes from security, the calmness that comes from sufficiency, the expansion that comes from knowing life is always giving to you. When you assume the feeling of wealth, you do not only draw money, you draw opportunities, friendships, health, peace, and joy. For the feeling of abundance colors every aspect of life. Many who hear this message will dismiss it because they cannot believe something so simple could be so powerful. They are addicted to effort, to struggle, to the belief that suffering is the price of success. But you are not here to struggle endlessly. You are here to create, to expand, to enjoy the riches of life. And once you grasp that your inner state is the key, you will marvel at how easily wealth flows to you when you choose to feel it first. You must practice until it becomes natural. At first it may feel like pretending. You may say to yourself, I feel rich, while your senses scream the opposite. But persist, for the subconscious does not care if you are pretending. It only receives what you persist in. And the moment the feeling becomes natural, the moment it becomes your dwelling place rather than a fleeting thought, the outer must shift. You will look back one day and realize that what once seemed like imagination is now your daily life. Do not despise small beginnings. If the only wealth you can feel today is the joy of holding a few bills in your hand, then start there. If you can only imagine buying a simple gift without worry, then start there. Let the feeling expand as you continue. The more you feel it, the more natural it becomes. And soon you will find yourself assuming greater and greater states of wealth with ease, until riches beyond your imagination flow naturally to you. The most important thing to remember is that your inner world is the cause. Do not let anyone convince you otherwise. Hard work without the right state produces frustration, but the right state, even with little outer effort, produces miracles. You have seen this truth in glimpses throughout your life, moments when something came easily, when doors opened without struggle, when what you desired seemed to fall into your hands. Those were moments when, consciously or unconsciously, you aligned with the state of already having. The difference now is that you will do it deliberately, consistently, until it becomes your way of being. So take your attention away from appearances. Do not measure your progress by what you see with your eyes. The outer always lags behind. Measure your progress by how real the feeling has become within you. Ask yourself, do I feel the security of wealth now? Do I feel the joy of abundance now? Do I walk through the day with the quiet knowing that life is working for me? If you can answer yes, then you are on the sure path, and nothing can prevent wealth from flowing to you. Let your life become an experiment in assumption. Each day choose to feel yourself as the wealthy one. Each night fall asleep in the comfort of abundance. Each moment return to the joy of already having. And watch as the invisible law brings forth its harvest in your outer world. When you begin to live this way, life itself takes on a new rhythm. You no longer wake each morning with the weight of worry, the anxious thought of how to make ends meet, or the fear of lack. Instead, you rise with expectancy, with a quiet confidence that everything you need is already unfolding. Even in moments when the outer world has not yet shifted, you carry within you the calm joy of one who knows their fortune is secure. This state of assurance is more powerful than any outer effort, for it aligns you with the very current of abundance. You will notice that the more you persist in this inner wealth, the less you are disturbed by appearances. Bills arrive, but you do not panic. Opportunities delay, but you do not despair. For you understand that the outer cannot help but catch up to the inner. You remain steady in the feeling, and soon the outer bends. The very thing that once terrified you now bows before you. The doors that once remained closed now swing wide. The people who once overlooked you now seek you out. For your state has changed, and the world has no choice but to recognize it. There is no limit to what this law can bring. It does not care whether you desire a modest sum or vast riches. It does not care whether the world says it is possible or impossible. The law only knows the state you persist in. If you persist in lack, lack will multiply. If you persist in wealth, wealth will multiply. It is as simple, as exact, and as unfailing as the rising of the sun. So I say again, feel it now, live it now, be it now. For the wealth you seek is not outside you, it is already within you, waiting only for your acceptance. The feeling of already being wealthy is the magnet that draws all things. And once you dare to live from it, the world must conform, for it has no power to resist the sustained assumption of your heart. The longer you remain faithful to the feeling, the more natural it becomes, until at last you forget the days when you once doubted. You begin to notice that your language changes, your posture changes, the very atmosphere around you changes. Others can feel it, though they may not understand it. They sense in you a calmness, a certainty, an invisible magnetism. Without effort, you draw conversations, invitations, and opportunities that point toward wealth. You do not chase them. They find you. And when they come, you recognize them as nothing more than the reflection of the inner state you have been living in all along. If you have ever watched the tide rise on a shore, you know it does not come all at once. It advances quietly, steadily, until the entire coast is covered. So it is with the feeling of wealth. At first the signs may be small. An unexpected gift, a chance encounter, a small increase in income. But as you persist, the tide rises higher. Soon abundance covers every area of your life. You look around and realize you are standing in a world transformed, though you cannot point to the exact moment it happened. For it came, as all things do, in response to your sustained assumption. You may be tempted to call this luck, But luck is only the name the world gives to the unseen law in operation. Nothing is random, nothing is accidental. All things unfold from the seed of feeling you have planted. And once you grasp this, you are no longer at the mercy of chance. You become the master of your fortune, the conscious creator of your wealth. So carry within you the secret that the world ignores. While others exhaust themselves chasing after riches, grinding with no end in sight, you will turn inward and dwell in the state of already having. And as you do, the riches they chase will begin to chase you. For the universe is bound by law to bring forth what you feel is true. As this inner transformation deepens, you discover that wealth is not a distant achievement, but a living presence. It ceases to feel like something to pursue and becomes instead something that flows naturally from you. You no longer speak as one who hopes, you speak as one who knows. You no longer look at others with envy, you look with recognition, for their riches are simply reminders of what you already carry within. The air around you feels lighter, the days seem brighter, and even challenges appear smaller, for you stand rooted in a wealth that cannot be shaken by appearances. This new way of living begins to affect not only your finances, but every aspect of your existence. Relationships improve, for you are no longer weighed down by fear and scarcity. Opportunities multiply, for you radiate the confidence of one who already has. Your health strengthens, for the burden of stress lifts, replaced by the ease of abundance. Everywhere you look, you see evidence of your inner state reflected back, and with every reflection your faith in the law deepens. And soon you realize that what once felt like effort is now joy. You are no longer working to earn wealth. You are expressing wealth through the work you do. The smallest task becomes infused with purpose because it springs from a state of fullness, not from lack. And in that state, even the simplest action is multiplied, producing results that far exceed anything labor alone could achieve. The world may continue to insist on struggle, to glorify sacrifice, to worship the grind, but you will know better. You will smile at their endless striving, for you have discovered the greater secret, that wealth belongs first to the one who feels it, and only then to the one who touches it.